Welcome, another episode of Lazy Bros Podcast, a smaller episode. Today we're providing an update, coaching update. Former Ravens defense coordinator Mike Macdonald hired by Seattle Seahawks for their new head coaching position, 6-year deal. Luke, what was your type of reaction of this deal? And we talked about this yesterday on our episode that we kind of expected this deal to happen.
No, yeah, I was expecting it when I saw it. I wasn't surprised at all. I mean, when you look at it, when you hear the 6-year deal, I feel like that's like the general. But heard that, and my sort of first thoughts are, so they're going defensive, and with where they're at with Geno Smith, and where it's reported that Pete Carroll wanted to keep Geno, they want to move on. My thought is that they're gonna attempt at least to go a Texans route. D'Amico Ryans go draft a young guy, get a guy they like, and then build the defense. I like the hire. I mean, he was really good. So I think for Seattle, this just sort of means they're sort of doing the rebuild as I expected.
Yeah, I think the hire's a really good hire as well. I think ever since Pete Carroll's been there, the culture of the team has been defense, and you've kind of seen the defense kind of fall off a bit production-wise the last couple of years with Pete Carroll under the helm. So now you get a guy who had and led the number one defense in the NFL this past season in the Baltimore Ravens. And there's a lot of young talent on the Seattle Seahawks defense. You have Dever Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen, Boyd Mafe, Jordan Brooks, Derek Hall, to just name a few. And then I expect them to add some other free agents and draft other people to add to this defense, which still needs help on the defensive line, in my opinion. But I think for Seattle, especially playing against San Francisco year in and year out, I think it's a great hire to get a defensive guy in there to counter Kyle Shanahan's offense. And, for Baltimore, their side of things, I think this is a huge loss. And usually teams losing coordinators kind of take a step back the following year. Now, I'm not saying that Baltimore is going to be drastically different on defense. I mean, they definitely won't be as good. But Baltimore, they always have good defenses. So I'm not overly concerned about them losing Mike Macdonald. But I think pairing his departure with some of the free agents that they're going to have to either re-sign or just let go, I think it may cause some issues for the Ravens.
Well, they need to re-sign Justin Manubuike. That's first and foremost.
Top priority.
Yeah, Patrick Queen may become.
I think Patrick Queen follows Mike Macdonald to Seattle. I think that's.
They have Jordan Brooks and Bobby Wagner played for them this year. I don't know.
They're definitely losing Patrick Queen regardless because they're already paying Roquan Smith.
Yeah, you don't need
a lot of money.
You have Roquan, and then you sign Justin Manubuike. But yeah, like you said, I don't really have much concern. I mean, you're the Ravens. You're known for defense, so I mean, you still have a ton of talent. Assuming they keep Manubuike, you have Kyle Hamilton, of course. You got some vets, Marlon Humphrey. So my opinion doesn't change much on the Ravens. It's just someone you'll have to replace. And I mean, they had to replace someone, and then they got Mike Macdonald, and they'll probably just find someone else. It's kind of just what Harbaugh does.
Do you think Seattle? Do you think this is a first-year hire where, like D'Amico Ryans, it just clicks right away, or do you think this may take a little bit of time because we're not sure if they have the quarterback in place to elevate the team?
Yeah, the thing with the Texans was Justin Stroud. CJ Stroud was so fantastic that the defense was but it was really CJ Stroud and Tank Dell and Nico Collins and Bobby Slowick. I don't know if Seattle has a Bobby Slowick at offensive coordinator. I don't think that so I wouldn't be optimistic like I am with them. I mean, it depends. They have a receiver decision, which maybe this defensive hire impacts that. Maybe this is where Metcalf or Lockett are let go, and it's just one of the two. I'd guess Lockett if it was one of the two, and then it's JSN and Metcalf. And you try to build from there. The thing is, I still don't know how you get a young quarterback. I mean, the first 3 picks are going to be quarterbacks. I mean, if it's not, I'd be surprised. Then, like I saw, it's senior day, but I saw Bo Nix did not have a good day today. I don't think Penix has stood out, so you're not really in line to go get a young quarterback, which I think is
or
a
at least
story
one
with
that
a
you
lot
know
of
for is
teams.
a for sure lock at
Yeah.
least.
No, yeah. And I mean, maybe like Justin Fields or something. I don't know. Maybe Trey Lance. I saw a little Trey Lance thing, but I don't even know if Lance is a starter next year. Kirk would be, but I don't think you could pay for Kirk.
I don't think you have Kirk and Geno Smith in the same quarterback
Well, I
room.
think Geno would be cut or traded or something. So they're in an interesting spot. Maybe they just roll it with Geno for a year and they say, "Well, wait till next year," because you're just not getting one of the top 3 guys this year, unless the Patriots want to move back. But I assume that the Patriots changing this culture, they're getting Jane Daniels. So it's weird. Maybe they have a plan. I do like Macdonald though. He
No,
does.
I think Seattle's. I mean, there's a lot of young talent on this defense.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you could, coach them up, develop them right, I think this defense could easily be a top at some point next 2 years be a top 15, top 12 defense with the personnel they have, and then you have Mike McDonald at the helm. I
McDonald.
think, yeah, at the helm. I think Seattle should be in good hands defensively. For Baltimore, I don't want to go too much in this because it's more about Seattle making the move. But Baltimore, you have the number 1 rated defense. You come up short. Is there any worry that this may have been their best chance to go to Super Bowl and they may not have a better chance going forward?
I mean, I don't believe in that. I don't view it in that way. I mean, yeah, you had a good chance and you missed it, but Lamar should be getting better, and that's a huge thing about it. And they have historically good defenses, and they probably will have another good defense again. It's what they do. It's what Harbaugh does. It's a culture they've built there. It's like the Steelers. So no, I don't see any. It changes very slightly how I view the Ravens.
Do you still view them as division favorites for next year? I mean, I know that there has a lot to play out this offseason with the draft, free agency, but let's do some moves that we assume happen. Let's say Bengals lose T Higgins, and let's say Ravens lose Patrick Queen. Are those two moves? Do they counter each other enough where one team takes the edge over the other, or is it we still have to see more of what happens?
I was on the Ravens this year. I'd still pick them ahead of the Bengals. I mean, Lamar wins regular season games. He wins a lot of them. Meanwhile, Burrow's constantly, he gets hurt like every year. I know Lamar's got hurt, but Burrow's like every year. He has something. And you lose T. Higgins. Maybe you go try to you don't even know if you're getting a receiver because they're talking
True.
about tackles, quarterbacks, and a line are just like going to be flying off the draft board. So you don't know if you get Odunze or Neighbors, and maybe you're going for Mitchell or Worthy or someone in that class or Franklin. So yeah, I'm still Ravens are still my team in the AFC North, unless the Bengals go and do some crazy stuff.
Another angle, and we won't be talking too much about this, but another angle for this hire is now there's only one coaching vacancy open in the Washington Commanders. I feel like this is a missed opportunity for them to get. I think now that their last team remaining, they've kind of missed out all the marquee coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I did see a report earlier that there are people among league circles that believe Dan Quinn's going to have the Washington job, which I don't know how I quite feel about that. Do you think that would be a good fit, or I think Mike Vrabel would still be a really good fit, but I still think it's going to happen. Do you think that move with Dan Quinn would make a lot of sense for Washington?
I'd go. Dan Quinn's fine. I'm not head over heels over Dan Quinn. I think it sucks that you. I think that Washington wanted Ben Johnson, and then
Pair
you
him with
don't
that
get
rookie quarterback.
which I can't blame at all if you really liked him and that was your guy. And then it's like, oh, he can't go. So yeah, I'd go Vrabel, but it doesn't seem like Vrabel really got a lot of buzz. Dan Quinn, he's been successful. He's nearly won a Super Bowl. It's fine. It's fine. That's nothing I really love. I mean, now are you going to keep Bieniemy or what's going to happen there at
Yeah,
OC?
that whole
And
situation's been
I saw Aaron
really weird.
Glenn. I'd rather go get Aaron Glenn, even though the Lions have had great defense. I mean, he's a guy who I bet. I mean, he's
Yeah.
always been a culture guy, and now he comes from Dan Campbell's coaching.
Yeah,
I like
I
Aaron.
think we've
I
already
don't.
seen Dan Quinn as a head coach and it didn't really work out.
He nearly won a Super Bowl.
Okay, but yeah, Kyle Shanahan's OC. I mean, I
Well,
think
yeah,
that plays a lot into it. I mean,
that defense is good, and I mean, he's fine. I just nothing special.
yeah, I think Aaron Glenn would be a much better hire.
I feel like you're settling with Dan Quinn. Aaron Glenn is sort of more potential that you really suck in 2 years with Aaron Glenn, but more potential that you really hit it out of the park with Aaron Glenn. So I'd hire Aaron Glenn if those are who you're choosing between. And I mean, it sucks that you can't have Slowick or Johnson.
Yeah, offensively, it made a lot of sense if they paired the offensive guy with their rookie quarterback that they inevitably take at number 2. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we head out? I know you had a rough night. The K-State women's team
No,
came up
yeah, they
short at
lost. That
Oklahoma.
sucks. That sucks. I mean, they're not going to be number 2. They're probably going to lose their next game, too, without Ayoka Lee, but maybe they'll win. I mean, they beat Baylor. Maybe you can beat Texas. Once Ayoka Lee comes back, K-State's going to be off and running. But I think that's it. I don't got anything else. It was just a pretty obvious hire. I felt like I would have bet my
I
life
mean,
on it.
we literally talked about it yesterday that we both expected it to happen.
Mhm.
Well, that will do it. Just a quick update from the Laser Bros. Make sure to tune in to next week. We also will be talking about the Chiefs and 49ers Super Bowl preview, and we'll have a mock draft here in a couple weeks once the Super Bowl is done. So that'll do it for our quick update, and make sure to like and subscribe to the video.
Peace.